All right, so here goes the little smaller battery powered QCW deal. It was just sitting out in the open. I've since put it in an enclosure. Same kind of deal, still just using the external ramp generator, and I've still got the 16 volt battery basically powering a ZVS driver to charge the DC bus, just because I want to conserve battery power. I mean, if I was to hold that down, you could see that it's draining that battery down quite a bit. So I just kind of regulate it like this. But yeah, same deal as before. It's not too bad. It's not, it doesn't do crazy good. I never really tried to tweak this or anything. I just left it how it was. So it can get about 2 feet. Does about 2 feet on a good arc, but that's about it. But again, I've got a real small 4S battery in there. I'm actually using a much smaller one than I had before. Let me see. So I've basically got one of these in there. It's a little 1300 milliamp hour deal, right? So it's not going to last as long as the other one. It's about half the size. But you see, I just kind of put a DC voltmeter on there. I had to steal the one off my coil gun. And I got some more coming, but you can see it's only getting up to about 150. I let it charge up to about maybe 180 top. So if I slow the ramp down, then cutting the camera off now. If I slow the ramp down, it'll get up to about 180 before it discharges. You can see at that 180, it's not making too much of a difference. I mean, it gets a little bit longer at times. So again, this is just sort of, it's open loop. I'm just randomly charging up the bus using just a ZVS driver, just all the one battery, around 16 volts. So that's 16 volts powering the drivers, the SSTC circuit, the buck driver, and the ZVS driver, right? So again, that's kind of how that worked out. I just wanted kind of like a cool little deal that I could like wheel around. All I got to do is hook up the ground wire, and that's kind of like a cool little demo. But again, this was kind of like the sloppy toss together, just using what I already had, and I tried to consolidate everything down a little bit smaller just by using particular small caps that I had. So this is a 6,000 microfarad, approximately 300 volt bus, and that's just how I've got it set up, right? Unfortunately, I actually have to technically hold the phone like this to get the all the ramps on there this close, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to show, it's not too difficult to get a little cheapish kind of setup like this and an enclosure like that. I easily could have fit everything in there if I had done some more work to it, but I just kind of real lazily just fit it in there how I could. So basically all I did was, I've already got the buck circuit driver opto isolated, but I didn't have my enable opto isolated. So I just had to add another little one in there so both inputs are isolated. Probably fiber would be better, but again, the optos, seem to work all right. But again, that's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to play with. All you need is the ground. So again, I thought about maybe turning this into like a gun, but I just changed my mind. I figured, well, let me try to make another one. So yeah, anyway, I'm sitting at about 16 now. So holding that down like that, it's again, it's a pretty little battery, but I think that's pretty cool that you can get some pretty decent runtime. Getting arcs like that off the QCW, just using a little battery like that, a little 4S. So again, this is just the real basic setup. All I've really added is just, I've got it so, with the control power off, I've got a normally closed relay draining the bus down you know, through just some 5K bleeder or something like that, right? You know, so when I cut it on, that'll open back up, and that's just how I do that. Cool to have the little DC voltmeter, just using my own separate ramp generator with its own battery in there. So probably the next build, all depending, I'm gonna add that just to the build itself. It's not gonna be separate, and I'll just, because you really, all I really use on here is you know, I'll leave this where it's at. That's more or less the on time. I'll slightly adjust this one if I want to change it, and I don't really mess with the wick. It's really just the BPS, and you know, honestly, the amplitude, I don't really mess with that either. I just leave it all the way up. So really, I only need a couple knobs on here, and that's pretty much it. So that's how the next one's going to be. And you can see just the existing coil I had, nothing crazy. Those are my series caps on the primary, and yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, I'll say that the only real squirrely thing about this is just because I was being lazy. I was being cautious / lazy. I didn't want to share grounds on this guy between the control power and the DC bus. So I isolated that by just giving it its own separate battery. Right? So I just got a little tiny lithium in there that's just enough. It's probably like a 2S, just enough to power that. And then I've got the, you know, the sense wires going over to the DC bus. So while that's kind of annoying, you see, that's why I got to put its own switch on there. I don't really think that's a big deal. That battery should power that little guy for quite some time, so long as I don't leave it on. But that's just how I did that, right? I didn't want to share ground, so I isolated it completely. And yeah, it seems to work out. So this thing, it's probably about 4 to 5 pounds. It's probably closer to 5 pounds, right? So that's fairly heavy. It's a little too heavy to try making into a gun. I would have had to rework a lot of that. But again, the plan is, I've just seen one guy, that would be Zach, who's made a really impressive tiny coil. I'm talking real super small coil with really awesome arcs. So he's actually been kind of on a roll there. So, you know, it's kind of showing, hey, it can be done, right? So I'll probably experiment with even smaller coils as well. Try to make an even small, I mean, I've been meaning to do that for a while, but try an even smaller secondary, smaller circuit, and then see if I can actually make the little gun out of it. Now, I've already got the little bootleg coil gun somewhere over there, right? That guy over there, you know, but obviously he doesn't have QCW style arcs, whereas I would like one to at least put out a foot and a half, something like that, if I'm going to make a small gun. So yeah, that'll probably be one of the next things. So still got that guy over there, been sitting there forever. But I'm actually going to try to put it in that enclosure I got down there whenever I get around to it. But yeah, that one's way heavier than it should be because I got everything mounted to this fairly heavy metal plate down there. I don't know why I did that, but it turned out to be a bad idea. But yeah, I bought some more resonant caps for that guy, so I still need to test that one out. So that might be the next thing I screw with now that I finally got this damn thing finished, right?